I'm sure you've all heard of scary terms such as vegan, vegetarian, but have you ever heard of a reducetarian? Those are people who just try to cut back on their meat consumption in their diet. And I'm here to tell you the reasons why you should cut down your meat consumption. This is so important because if you want to have kids someday, maybe even grandkids, you want to leave them a better world than how it was left to us. Not to mention, there are direct health benefits for you. My sister was a vegan for about 7 years, and I remember always being so impressed but astounded that she could give up so many of the foods that I cannot live without. But then I thought, why do I need to choose between the two lifestyles? So I've been a reducetarian for about 8 months, and I get to enjoy all the foods that I love while still knowing that my carbon footprint will be smaller. But why should you do this? I'm going to tell you the reasons why excessive meat consumption is detrimental not only to your health but the environment, and suggest a legal solution to this problem. So let's first look at some of the reasons why this is bad. This is bad because there is a direct line between mortality rate and meat consumption, meaning if you eat more meat in your diet, it is more likely for you to die earlier on. You just won't live as long. So in a study by JAMA Internal Medicine and mentioned by CNN Health, if people eat 10% more animal protein, they have a 2% increase in their mortality rate and an 8% increase in their cardiovascular related diseases and deaths. However, people who eat just 3% more plant-based proteins have a 10% decrease in mortality and a 12% decrease in cardiovascular related deaths. This is because animal proteins tend to have more fat in them, which makes the insulin work harder because their job is to take the proteins from your food and your bloodstream and take them to your cells. Lisa Elaine Helt has a great analogy in her article in Well and Good, and she says to picture this like you're trying to drive to work during rush hour. You are the insulin, everyone else is the fat droplets. You're just trying to get down the freeway to do your job, take those proteins to the cells, but the fat droplets are in the way. You can't do it efficiently. However, this is not just a problem for your body. The meat industry has detrimental major impacts to the environment as well, specifically climate change. In an article in The Conversation by Dr. Francis Vergenst and Julian Savalucci, livestock accounts for 30% of the Earth's landmass and is one of the leading causes in biodiversity loss, water pollution, and deforestation. It also generates 18% of greenhouse gases, which is more than all forms of transportation combined. On the website ewg.org, there's a statistic that says that if every American just gave up meat for one day, then that would be the equivalent of taking 7.6 million cars off the road. Now, before going on to my legal solution, I'd like to show you the end of a TED Talk by Graham Hill, who is a reducetarian. And he talks about how he was not ready to give up all of the foods that he loved, but he knew the benefits, so he came up with this own solution. So here is Graham Hill.
The program has been great, weekday veg. My footprint's smaller, I'm lessening pollution, I feel better about the animals, I'm even saving money. Best of all, I'm healthier, I know that I'm going to live longer, and I've even lost a little weight. So please, ask yourselves, for your health, for your pocketbook, for the environment, for the animals, what's stopping you from giving weekday veg a shot? After all, if all of us ate half as much meat, it would be like half of us were vegetarians. Thank you.
That's great. So now that we know that there is a clear and apparent reason that we need to change, we have to put in a legal solution to push consumers into the right direction. And I think the best and most effective way to do that would be a global red and processed meat tax. But how would that affect us, and what would that look like for us? CBNC a CBNC article by Chloe Taylor says the optimal taxation rate is going to be 20% for red meat and 50% for processed meat. So that looks like going to Kroger's and spending $6 on a pack of hot dogs instead of $4, and $15 for a steak rather than $12. And while this sacrifice seems really small, a couple dollars here and there, the benefit it's going to give to this issue is leaps and bounds. If we just do implement a 20 and 50% tax increase, there's going to be a 70% recoup in healthcare costs, which in 2020 was $285 billion. This taxation proposal also predicts that there will be a 16% decrease in meat consumption worldwide and reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 100 trillion tons. But why is this the best option? What makes this a really good option? Anders Nordgren writes in his academic paper that compares cap and trade to taxation, both topics that are very heavily debated with this issue, that both are really good, but whatever we do, we're going to have to strengthen over time, meaning with a cap and trade, we're going to have to lower the cap or raise the tax with taxation. But with taxation, we already know that this is going to work because we've seen it with sin tax, taxing on alcohol and tobacco. In the US, it is proven that when the society accepts something as dangerous, like tobacco, then it is relatively easy to raise that tax. So something that's going to seem annoying now is going to feel normal in pretty soon, and then it's going to be seen as a necessity. So while there are many options to this problem, I think that taxation will be the best. Our meat consumption is killing us and killing our environment. Until we put in a legal solution to push consumers in the right direction, it's just going to get worse. I want to live a long and healthy life and be proud of the world that I'm going to give to future generations just as much as I hope that you do too. So no, I'm not advocating for worldwide veganism because frankly, I could never. But a changed mindset and a tax to recoup some of the lost damage is something I think that everyone can handle. But why don't we just get ahead of this tax game? Let's explore more plant-based options together. Maybe eat just one day less of meat per week. And then we'll see that perfectly cooked filet mignon as the treat it should be.